Now we're going to create a simple input form. We'll do this with a very simple task list item input using a text box, and then we're going to display that content on the page. Returning to Visual Studio, and based on our previous demonstration, I've just modified in our testpage.aspx the header2 tag to say task. I want to give an end user the ability to provide feedback or a task that should be entered into the system through a text box. I'm going to open up the toolbox, which is going to showcase all the server-side controls. This is one of the differentiating factors of web application projects compared to some of the other web methodologies that we're going to look at in different modules. I'll drag this text box here. I could have also done this, by the way, in the designer, dragging and dropping it on here. Returning to the source view, I have the text box. I also want to add a button. When the user's done, they're going to click the button. I want this to say add ... And then finally, maybe underneath a horizontal rule, I'll put a label that will indicate the result of the operation. And because of that, I'm going to empty its text. This is the property of this control. These IDs are how I'm going to reference this in code, in .NET code. Because they're server-side controls, they can be manipulated on the server while the web server is processing and then send back the rendered result to the end user. So in essence, what I want to do is user enters information into a text box. They click the add button. Results show in the label. This can be accomplished by responding to the click event of this button. Currently, I'm inside the button when click event. This is C# code. This code is associated with the test page. I can now reference those server controls by their IDs. Since I didn't change the names of any of them, by default, it's just their class name or their type name followed by a number, such as 1. So I want to change, I want to say, hey, label1.text. And again, we see IntelliSense popping up. I want to assign to your property a textbox1.text value. Whatever the user typed in, that's what we'll put into the label. And then I could concatenate that value with a string and say task added. Now I'm going to save all of this, build the project, and now I'm going to view this in the browser. Do data stuff. Click add, and now it says the do data stuff task added. So we've seen an example of how we can take in input from the end user and also display that content back onto the page.